Good morning, pretty lights. I'll probably say that every time I pass this way because I really like it. It was a nice addition to this bus stop of mine. Anywho, so now I'm gonna talk to you about something that I have had and most professional programmers will have to or have dealt with for a fairly long time. And that thing is recruiters. Yes, recruiters. You may or may not have heard that in the programming world there is literally such a massive deficit of programmers that there is an entire industry of people whose sole purpose basically going to work is to find programmers who are willing to switch jobs or are in odds that you are the odds of being an unemployed programmer these days are it's almost to the it's really uncommon. Most programmers, especially the good ones, they are never unemployed, ever. Or rather they choose to be unemployed because that's literally how massive the demand is. Now, a few things that I've learned that maybe hopefully my experiences hopefully will be useful to you is that depending on the size of your social media network, because the amount of recruiter, like if you have a LinkedIn profile, for example, or Facebook or something of that nature, they will find you. If you in any way indicate that you are like a programmer, then you should absolutely do that. I mean, I have colleagues who don't have this problem whatsoever because they don't have a LinkedIn profile and they have no presence on the web. So of course, it's not like the recruiters are psychic. If you don't exist, you don't exist. Like if you're not on the web, you're not gonna get as much attention. So I highly encourage you, even though it's a double-sided, two-sided sword. This whole being a programmer in the workforce type of thing. So you should absolutely put some time into having a LinkedIn profile, and I even go as far as to say that, you're a programmer, make a few connections, create a script or something that automatically, like I did that, you can create a script that automatically manages most of your social media networks for you, which is a pretty cool project. I had a lot of fun doing that. I basically created a automated system that took care of all that for me, so I don't have to think about it. And it's been working out pretty well. And once you have that presence, you will be, for the most part, depending on how much of a noise you make, you will be flooded by recruiters. And this is something that you may not be used to. Because the fact of the matter is that there is almost it's very rare that you get that you're forced to search for jobs in the traditional sense as a programmer. You may not be used to how it works, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. So what usually will happen is that you won't have to, there are job postings, of course, and you can still go to those and, as I said, if you're not managing your social media profile, this is most likely what you're going to do. But you will probably, for the most part, get a call back very quickly. The average time it took for most of my colleagues at Ticketmaster to get a new job, and have a new job, was between, I think the guy who got it the quickest, a week. For me it took 5 weeks, but then again I talked to a lot of people, and I think that was the average, about a month to get a new job during vacation in Sweden. Now for you non-Swedes, you may not think that's a big deal, but for us, if you're Swedish, you will know how little happens in Sweden during July and August. That's when we did this. So you can imagine how big the demand is. So anywho, recruiters will in general contact you over LinkedIn, or they will send you private messages on some other social media, or they will send you emails and so forth. And the first and foremost thing you need to know is that if you're like me and you are a people pleaser, don't be a people pleaser. Very, very rarely recruiters are. There are so many of them. Like, I think when it was as good as it comes for me, I averaged 2 recruiters per day. Now, when a recruiter contacts you, that person is not offering you a job. That's the main difference between being a programmer and most other jobs. If you do get to a situation where you're talking about a job, it's very rarely the only thing that you're talking about. Like, it's very hard in comparison to get a job as, say, a cleaner or a carpenter or something like that. But when you actually get to a point where you're discussing a potential hire, it's usually a formality. Like, you usually just go to one interview, and then for the most part you get a yes or a no, though of course it can take longer than that. But when a recruiter contacts you, you should know that the only thing that's being promised for the most part is that they are interested in you. You basically get an invitation to prove that you're a good fit for whatever company they're recruiting for, because after that you're going to go on an initial interview. You're going to most likely have to do a code test, although you may or may not want to do that. And then basically the hiring process starts, and then you will get your answer. So it's a bittersweet thing. Like, it's very easy to get a job or to get interviews as a programmer, but often the recruitment process is longer. They test you more and all that stuff. So what I usually do, and my suggestion to you, is to basically automate as many of the responses as possible. If you're not looking for a job, you will still get contacted. Trust me, they don't care that you have a job. You will get a lot of requests. And I basically have a text expansion command for standardizing a response to these people, and I even respond to the same recruiters with the same standardized message. And in the beginning I felt bad for doing that. I mean, I thought these are human beings and so forth, and of course they are, but I realized when I talked to a few of them that they are talking to hundreds of people. They're fishing for people, and they're not manually inputting every message that they're sending out. So why should you just give them a straight no? Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't anything like that. Be respectful and simply tell them that no, at this moment I'm not looking for other opportunities, but maybe we can talk in the future. And what usually happens is that they shock you down in their maybe pile, or maybe Excel spreadsheet, and then they will contact you in the future for the most part. Because remember that they are running a business. This is not something they are not just some person contacting you. They are trying to make money off you. That's what their business is about. So don't be afraid to simply automate the response, because trust me, it gets very tedious to talk to them. Don't try to initiate a conversation with every single person. Just be upfront, say that you're not looking for a job. If you are looking for a job and you are talking to a recruiter, I highly recommend that you have your own little process for doing this, because they will tell you. They are salespeople. Don't forget that they are salespeople, and they have a bad reputation, a lot of them, for a good reason. They are trying to sell you. And they are trying to sell you not only to their client, they are trying to sell you on the idea of working for their client. They are a go-between, or a mediator between two parties, trying to seal a deal, a facilitator, if you will. And so odds are, if they are unless they are working for that company, like literally working for the company, not just an agency or something like that, odds are that they will have you don't go and ask them about how it is to work for that company, because they will say what they need to say for the most part to get you sold on getting to that first interview. I highly suggest to you that you take the approach that I did. It worked fairly well, and that is that you ask yourself what's important for you when it comes to, like, especially if it's a consultant agency. Consultant agencies are notorious for basically, like, if they want to expand their business, all they're going to do is ask you if you're interested in a job and then try to sell you on all these other things. And if you ask them, okay, what projects do you have available? Why are you talking to me? They won't be able to answer you, because you're about as special as a slice of bread to them. It's not about you, it's about them expanding their business, because in their, like, for them, every like experienced programmer they get is potentially more money, because of what I said earlier. The demand is so massive that you can almost literally shock down an experienced programmer as, like, directly into income. So the more you have, regardless of, like, if you have something for them or not, it's going to generate money, because odds are that you're going to find them a job. So if you are just looking for a job, then sure, just take whatever job that they're offering. But if you are like me and you're actually interested in technology and you want to have a decent, like, you want to learn things and you want to have a good working environment and all that stuff, take some time to make sure that you know, like, who you were talking to. So what I usually do is that I will ask the recruiter about the technologies that the companies are using, because that's right for me, because I want to work with things that are fairly relevant. I have recruiters who will come and talk to me and say that, oh yeah, we have this really forward-thinking, super modern company, and I ask, okay, what technologies are they using? Oh, they're using Hibernate and Java IE7. To me, by my definition, that's not forward thinking. Technology that's been around for that long is not forward thinking or, like, cutting edge or modern. As I said, it's very relative, so you need to know your stuff. If you're interested in technology, have your own interview questions. Ask them stuff about the interview. You ask them questions that will make you understand about ish where they're coming from. That's usually very easy for you, because the recruiters don't really have, like, they can't spin that. They don't have technical knowledge, so they can't really fool you into anything. So that's the first step. Start having your own interview questions, and as soon as possible. Never ever go to a job interview without at least talking to somebody who is working at that company, because for the most part, when you're conducting an interview, you will not talk to actual developers. They will put you with HR people, they will put you with all these non-technical people. Talk to your actual colleagues. That's my biggest tip to you. Make sure that you're talking to the colleagues. And for the rest of it, it's pretty standard procedure. You're going to go through their process, etc., and then you may or may not get an offer. So the recruiters will, for the most part, keep you very busy. So I highly recommend that you do these two things. Number one, automate. If you're not looking for a job, just automate a respectful no response with, like, a short command or something like that. And the second thing is, if you are interested, make sure that you have your own little screening process for what recruiters do you want to work with and what companies are they representing, so that you can figure out if it's worth your time. Because if you don't, like, for me, I had like maybe 20, like, I'm going to actually give you the actual number. I had roughly 138 people talking to me when I last I looked for a job. And it's just and every single body, everyone wants to put you on the phone, because if they have you on the phone, they can go into their sales pitch. And trust me, you don't have time for that. And in my experience, they will say pretty much anything. And remember, they're not bad people. They are salespeople. They are in a business situation. They're not your friend. They are trying to make a sale here. So don't forget that.